Immortal Empires has just launched, and now you, the player, have the daunting choice of deciding which of the 80+ legendary lords you want to play for your next campaign. Or maybe this isn't your first run around, it's your 5th or 10th, who knows? In this series, I want to help guide you through deciding which lord to choose by giving you a no-spoiler breakdown of each campaign, divided by their faction or race. I'll go through each legendary lord, giving you a brief summary of their abilities and what their campaign plays like to help you decide which is the right one for you. I've organized these from the ones I enjoy the least to the ones I enjoy the most, and this is by no means a concrete fact. You might love one of them more than I do. I'm just grading them more off of my preference, so don't feel like choosing the first lord in this list is going to be a letdown or anything. In this video today, we'll be covering the Warriors of Chaos and their new rework. You can quickly navigate to any character that interests you the most using the chapters in both the timeline and the description. As always, guys, if you end up enjoying the content, please don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe. Help me defeat the greatest boss of all time, the YouTube algorithm. Let's get started here on the Warriors of Chaos campaigns. So the first lord on our list is Festus, one of the new lords, Festus the Leech Lord here. We're going to go ahead and take a look at his faction effects for Leech Lord's Cavalcade. So he'll be able to give vassals poison attacks and spread Nurgle corruption. Remember, with the new Warriors of Chaos rework, vassals are your lifeblood. And now that they all have Nurgle corruption being spread for you, it's huge. He can brew plagues. He has souls gain plus 25 when plagues are spread, which is massive. That's really huge for his crucial ability to just spread those plagues. And when he spreads those plagues, they'll be able to give him souls that just kind of goes directly back into its Warriors of Chaos mechanics. For anyone who does not know those Chaos Warriors mechanics, I've linked in the upper right-hand corner my video where I went over all of the Chaos rework and the guide on it, so you can go ahead and check that out. But for his Plague Cauldron, he has a different set of base plagues than, say, Kugoth Plaguefather. So his base plagues give him some attrition reduction here, Nurgle Authority. Authority is useful in reducing the upkeep, the recruitment costs, warband upgrade costs, and whatnot of his units. The Festus' Babos is going to help out with casualty replenishment, which is a huge thing because you can take advantage of casualty replenishment at such an amazing rate for not just Festus, but for Nurgle as a whole, and he really can go pop off with this one right here. Ague is going to help out with growth, so you just put this on your settlement, and you can put on Babos on your character and Ague on your settlement, and you'll just be growing nonstop. You'll be replenishing. It's so strong. Then Festus's Rot, it's going to help gain souls from battles and Nurgle Authority, as well as reduce leadership. And then Festus's Palsy is going to help with missile resistance, Nurgle Authority, and Vigor in battle is tired for your enemy. So a lot of really great abilities here with his Nurgle Cauldron. For his actual skill set, he has Dark Apothecary, which gives plague duration 3 turns in all armies and province, and battle healing cap plus 25%, as well as his 2 activatable abilities, Healing Elixirs, which is going to basically heal in a 35-meter radius around him, or Harbinger of Pestilence. Either one, this is going to be able to do damage in 35-meter radius around him. So basically, the way you use Festus is you sit him behind your army, because you don't need to be in combat for these to go off, and you either drain by doing damage or replenish the damage lost from all of your units, or health loss from all of your units by healing them. So you have these at your disposal. And also, he is a caster, so he gets access to all the spells from the Lore of Nurgle, which is just great. He can use Clinical Hygiene to remove contact effects for his entire army. Casualty replenishment increased further with Bedside Manner. Doctor's Order further increases his battle healing cap. So if it's not obvious here, Festus has a way to really pop off on the battlefield when it comes to just healing nonstop, keeping your army replenished, and constantly fighting. That's really the name of the game for Festus. And taking a look at his actual placement on the map here, he's in the Middle Mountains at the Brass Keep. And this puts him in a location that is very precarious. So he does have a Dark Keep right here. A Dark Fortress right here. And there's another Dark Fortress down over here, I believe. And also, I think Altdorf is a dark fortress. So there's a couple places for him to expand to. Now, personally, I am not a huge fan of Nurgle. I don't really enjoy playing Nurgle armies. So I've put this as the first one on the list as quote-unquote the worst. But it's still a very fun campaign because Festus is a very strong lord and character. I just personally don't enjoy this playstyle as much. As far as possible alliances around you, you do have the Beastman over here. Be'lakor starts right in this location. Azazel is right over here. But around you, the rest of this is just kind of also... Another reason I don't really like this campaign very much is it's a lot of the land I've already gone through 3 games already, right? I've already been in the old world. I want to go through different portions of the game map, and Festus just doesn't really provide that for me. But he's also a place that is a character that you can absolutely take over the entire old world if you so see fit with Festus the Leech Lord. So that is Festus in a nutshell. He's going to be a character that if you really want a slow moving army that can constantly stay healed and replenished on the battlefield, and you're constantly spreading plagues all over the place while being able to pull from the new marked Chaos Warriors of Nurgle, then Festus is absolutely going to be the Lord for you. Next up is one of the older characters in Prince Sigvald the Magnificent, one of the characters that is themed heavily around Slaanesh. By looking at these signs of Slaanesh and his faction effects, he's going to get a soul cost reduction for all gifts of Slaanesh, which is actually quite nice here. Vassal gain immune to psychology, as well as spread Slaanesh corruption. He can seduce units, which is the new Slaanesh mechanic that comes with Nakari and the Demons of Slaanesh, as well as apply benefits. Applies and benefits from the seductive influence and gifts of Slaanesh. The base, not to be confused with the chaos gifts of Slaanesh, and then the ability to basically mark someone with a gift of Slaanesh, which constantly provides you with souls. You would do that anytime you attack and kill another character. Now, looking at his actual trait, he has Supreme Vanity, which gives him character experience 10%. Slaanesh Corruption +4, and then Speed +15% for Marauders. And that's really kind of, Marauders, Chaos Warriors of Slaanesh, and Chosen of Slaanesh. So all mortal units of Slaanesh get a bonus from their speed with him. And he has some very interesting capabilities. If I look at his skill set, he has his special line for Egomaniacal, which helps out with leadership and tribute, no big deal. Self-obsessed, missile block chance, melee attack and defense is nifty. Stylish helps out with the Lord's army, giving it melee defense and physical resistance, which is quite nice. But then you get driven by lust, increases income from post-battle and raising, as well as unit experience for Slaanesh units. But look at this one. Born to serve. Attribute expendable for all non-character units. And if you don't know what expendable means, is basically anytime a unit flees or is destroyed in combat, it causes a leadership penalty for all of your other allied units. If it's expendable, it does not have that penalty. That's pretty wild. Also, hero action cost and success chance has been increased and decreased right there. And then Unworthy grants him Demonic and the passive ability Fiendish Musk, which lowers speed and melee attack around him in 35-meter radius as a passive bonus, always on. Also, Favored Son allows him to give Soporific Musk to aspiring champions and Chosen of Slaanesh, also for himself. I mean, that's really strong. He also starts with a nice 520 weapon strength. Marked by Slaanesh 2 is going to give him Slaanesh authority and diplomatic relations with Slaanesh. So he starts in a very interesting location too, all the way over here at the Shard Coast. And this is very, very, very close, of course, to the Dark Elves over in this location. And his campaign is very interesting too, because he'll be jumping through doing a lot of dealings with Dark Elves, which are very, very, not necessarily a direct counter to you playing Warriors of Chaos, but they're not going to be easy or fun. So it's really about you expanding quite quickly, because you do start up also right next to some demons. Now, one thing to note with demons is they do not give you any souls, so it's kind of a little bit of a headache dealing with them. You do have the Krog right over here that you can confederate, as well as the Aghol, which is nice here, and you do get the Mirror Guard right out the gate on turn 1, so that's all quite nice. So overall, though, this campaign is very finicky because you start against so many Dark Elves, and it puts you in a position that you can really suffer fast from, and you do have to expand out quickly to take this location east, or else you'll just kind of get mired in a bunch of crap. So I find Sigvald's campaign to be very annoying because also I don't like this character very much. He doesn't get any cool mounts, so I don't really find that as big of a draw to me. He's always on foot. He himself, as a character on foot, always felt so lackluster. He has a lot of really cool skills, and he's a great way to get into like a pure Warriors of Chaos playthrough that's not Azazel. So he does get access to, again, Mirror Guard and things like that right out the gate. But I think if I wanted to play a Warrior of Chaos unit that is Slaanesh, I'd go with Azazel, which is the next person we're going to talk about. But this is going to be a campaign for you if you want to expand more into the regions of the Dark Elves over in this region, maybe even diving down directly into Ulthuan and allying with Be'lakor right here, whatever you kind of see fit. But Sigvald's campaign, I feel, is a little bit more of an aimless one compared to, say, Azazel, which has a little bit more direct objectives. You do have the sea lane right here you can take advantage of that allows you to jump over, or maybe it's right here, that allows you to jump into Cathay if you so wish. But let's move on over into Azazel. All right, popping us off. Azazel is a campaign that is further north than Festus. It's right over here in Norska, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun because it's well, I know it's a lot of fun. It's a little bit different though than, say, Sigvald, which is kind of a little bit of a forlorn location. There's not as much fun to be had around here as there is for Azazel's location. Now, he has Humanity's Bane, which is going to give him diplomatic relations with pretty much all humans. Vassals gain the same thing, immune to psychology as well as Slaanesh corruption, and he can also seduce units and apply and benefit those Slaaneshi benefits as well. For his skill set, though, he has way more fun and interesting skill sets than Sigvald, in my opinion. He has Prince of Damnation, passive ability Domineering Aura, which we'll go into in just a little bit, and he has a focus on seduction. Seducing units cost is reduced for all human factions, and then a budget increase as well. As far as his actual abilities, he has these spells of the Lore of Slaanesh to take advantage of. For, where is it? Domineering Aura, it's going to reduce melee attack and defense as things leaderships waver around him. So this has got a cascading effect. Also, physical resistance of 20%. He's just a very fun lord. He's a very low armor though, so you have to watch out. He's going to be a little bit of a glass cannon because 500 base weapon damage with 375 of it being AP. He, of course, though, has the Temptator ability, which is going to give him melee defense and damage reflection. He gets Phantasmagoria benefits. Drive for Perfection is going to help out with character experience and melee attack. The passive ability Soul Feeder, which is going to be a heal for him. Lasts 9 seconds. Souls gathered from battle 15%. Serpent's Kiss gives him a additional passive AoE damage ability of 10 meters. 10 to 20 damage right there, and bonus versus infantry of 12. Ecstatic Adoration helps out with control and casualty replenishment, and then squaring us off with Paradise Found, giving him Path to Glory benefits, as well as passive ability Paragon of Excess, which further now reduces the melee attack in a 35-meter radius around him. So you can see here that, in my opinion, this is a character that is a little bit more geared towards things. And I think that in both characters, it's worth noting right now that the Chosen and the Chaos Warriors of Slaanesh with Hell Scourges are really just not worthwhile units. So I think it makes Slaanesh suffer as a whole because I don't think I have any Hell Scourges on here. But basically the Hell Scourge, it's 32 weapon strength, and this is 44 weapon strength, and 0 of it is armor piercing, meaning that they cannot actually threaten against anything with high armor, and it's a very valuable unit. So it's not that fun or exciting to have a very high value unit not really do armor piercing damage. So that's kind of a bit of an anvil that's at the ankle of any Slaaneshi playthrough. Of course, their big focus is on cavalry, being very fast and very shock cav focused. And if we look at the actual starting location, what I think makes Azazel so fun is he's surrounded by dark fortresses. There's one right here at the Forbidden Citadel. There's one right here. There is one right here. There's another one right here. There's another one right here. They are all over the place. There's one over here as well as from Giant Home Mountains. So all of these possible expansion points, you could even jump across where there's another one right across this river right there. So you could, as Azazel, jump across into the Northern Chaos Wastes, move west, and then go and subjugate Sigvald and bring him into your faction, more or less. Well, subjugate's different than confederate, remember that. So I just think that Azazel's a better playthrough. I think he's a more fun character. I think you as a Warriors of Chaos player will benefit more too, because you won't be stacked up against Dark Elves over and over again, which is a little bit more fun. And you'll be playing a little bit here into Kislev, which I think adds a little variety and fun to this playthrough. Azazel himself is a lot more of a shock and awe style character. He's going to dive in, do a lot of damage, and then dive out. He doesn't want to stay in prolonged combat because he's got a very low defensive profile, right? Taking a look, he's got 6,400 health, 5 armor, and 55 melee defense. So keep those things in mind when you play Azazel. And if you want to play a Slaaneshi Warriors of Chaos playthrough that has a ton of variety with a lot of different places to take advantage of, Azazel's definitely going to be the Lord for you. Bringing up that midpoint on our list is Archaon the Everchosen. And this is by no means like not a fun campaign at the midpoint. I'm just saying everything from this point going forward are remarkable campaigns. And that's just kind of worth noting out the gate here. So taking a look at Archaon, let's just look at his abilities here in Everchosen. And you're going to notice a lot of cascading effects when we start to talk about him and Kholek. But maximum active gifts +1 for Gifts of Chaos Undivided. Research rate plus 10% for each vassalized faction. That is a very strong mechanic. Plus souls per turn from each vassal faction plus 25. The big two things with the Warriors of Chaos is research and souls. And you get this in spades. In spades with Archaon. Also diplomatic relations is nice too. But I mean, look at this. You have to push through a really, really elaborate, well, not even elaborate, but a pretty large research tech tree, and to be able to get a huge 10% bonus per vassal, you'll be able to get within this first location 4 vassals very easy. That's a 40% bonus. And if you use your sorcerer here, this is Exalted Hero, if you get a sorcerer and have them steal, that's an additional 30. You'll almost be at 100% or 200% research rate by turn 20. Just keep that in mind. In addition, now Archaon also gets a custom spell kit, but his trait here, Vessel, units gain 3% weapon and missile strength per rank received, which is juicy. All authority 1 and ward save 5%. I mean, he is mean. He is in charge. He is way stronger than he was in his previous iterations. Again, his skills, you can see he gets Searing Doom, Spirit Leech, Flaming Sword of Ruin, Burning Head, then Transmutation of Lead, and Purple Sun of Xerius. He gets a lot of great abilities here. Grand Marshal of Chaos helps increase his low recruitment rank and unit experience. Abyss Forged Armor, upkeep reduction here for warriors, as well as Warband upgrade cost reduction for undivided units. Chosen Ones helps out with Chaos Chosen physical resistance of 12%, which is juicy. Knights of the Herald is going to help out with your Chaos Knights, and Distinguished Champions with Exalted Heroes and Ascension to Demonhood here is going to give him an increase to all authority +1. Also, he gets, look at all these juicy armors and also an armor set attached to this. Like, it's so great. The armor of Morkar is unique and new here with 24 melee defense and charge reflection in a 35 meter radius around him, 10% ward save. As I said, man, like, he is just stacked to the nines. And I'm not saying he's not a fun campaign being in the middle point. He's actually a great campaign. I just think the other ones are even more fun because Archaon the Everchosen is in an interesting location. He's all the way over here at the top right end of the map, and that is intended. You are to gather the hordes of chaos and move south into Kislev, just right over here, and then down into the old world. And it is the quintessential story of good versus evil in Warhammer. And if you want to play that campaign, trust me, Archaon is so much more stacked to do it now than he ever has been in Warhammer 1 or 2. And you're going to have the most fun being the Everchosen and bringing all 4 of the ruinous gods upon the old world. So if that's the campaign you want, you are definitely going to be getting it here with Archaon the Everchosen. Next up is everyone's favorite World of Warcraft character in Total War Warhammer with Valkia. Now, Valkia is one of the newer characters added with the Champions of Chaos DLC, and she is geared towards Khorne in a big way. Consort of the Blood God is going to give her access to the bloodletting ability that Skarbrand has. So basically, rampaging through things is going to give her cascading bonuses and effects. Campaign movement range plus 15% after winning a battle, and souls gained from sacrificing captives is increased by 50%, as well as vassals gaining frenzy and spread Khorne corruption. For her actual abilities too, we can see that she has frenzy because she has the Mark of Khorne. She gets the Gaze of Khorne passive ability, which increases AP, base weapon, and leadership in a 35-meter radius around her because that is part of her Gore Queen trait, which also gives her campaign movement range plus 35% after enemy retreats from battle. With her skill set, we can see Bringer of Glory is going to help with leadership as well as Chaos Marauder recruitment rank. Queen of the Schwarzwolf is going to help out here as well with diplomatic relations, allegiance gain, attribute Vanguard deployment for Chaos Marauders, Warriors, and Chosen, which is just juicy. Risen again helps out with vigor, loss reduction, wound recovery time. Scorn the Coward is going to give physical resistance to her as well as passive ability Wrath of Khorne, which triggers every time someone casts a spell, which is so sick. That person's going to blow up basically. Bloodraven is going to help with income from post-battle, from raising settlements and enemy leadership, as well as Sword Maiden of Khorne. It's going to give her the passive ability of Gore Feast, replenishing hit points in melee combat. It's just so juicy, no pun intended. And she has quite a few quest items here, as well as a set attached to all this for control and speed. Scarlet Armor is great. Her Demon Shield gives her invulnerability for 13 seconds, which is juicy, and then Spear of Sleipnir gives her a little bit of a wind attack, which is lovely. And overall, this campaign is kind of balls to the wall. And that is the same thing for Skarbrand. And Skarbrand was probably my favorite campaign of Warhammer 3, in that all you have to do is load up an army, choose a direction, and reap in that direction. You're just going to kill through things. And on top of it, she is such a strong combatant. She has a bonus versus large. She does magic and flaming attack. She has a ton of armor. Not a lot actually of melee attack and defense. You're going to want to buff those through her skills, but a lot of AP and bonus versus large, like I was saying. So she's going to rip things down. And on top of it, Khorne units are extremely strong in the game. I think Tzeentch might be a little bit better when it comes to campaign and long-term sustainability and everything. But I really love the fact that she'll get access to Skull Crushers right out the gate. Knights can upgrade to Skull Crushers. And she, of course, has her special tech tree as a champion of Khorne. So keep that in mind. And basically, it's like, this campaign is going to be for you if you just want to kill things. If you don't want to worry about a backline, you don't want to worry about any kind of tricky mechanics, you just want to kill shit. And this is what you're going to do. And it's why I love Valkia's campaign and Skarbrand so much, is because you choose a direction and you're going to just kill things in that direction. One thing I will say, though, is playing against the Dark Elves can be very tricky depending upon the difficulty you are playing in. So be mindful of that. You're going to want to use units that have shields in the beginning portions of the campaign until you build up a larger army, because any of these Dark Shards or any of their basically their starting missile units are going to rip you to shreds. So you really need to make sure you're insulating against them. And the harder difficulties, this will be a very challenging campaign because you've got Malekith right here, Hellebron right here. So that's two very big, strong, scary lords with large, scary armies. And now Grombrindal starts right over here. And dwarfs have plenty of ways to pierce armor. So just kind of keep all that in mind, and you can have a lot of fun with Valkia, especially because she can just choose a direction and kill her way to victory. Everyone's favorite Dragon Ogre just got even better with Immortal Empires. Kholek Suneater is disgusting in this. So let's take a look at his abilities, because let me tell you, they can get out of control. So he has Herald of the Tempest. Going to give him some Chaos Undivided gifts, no big deal. Dark Fortress settlements, buildings grant additional Dragon Ogre Warband recruitment capacity, so you can get access to those Dragon Ogres very quickly. You get Summoners of Rage on turn 1. But look at this. Look at this. Empowered by Warship, Kholek gains 5% weapon strength, mass, and armor for each currently vassalized faction. This gets out of control. Out of control. And by turn 25, I had 4 vassals. That's a 20% bonus to all of this. And let's look at his stats. 20% bonus to 540 ain't a small number. And it gets even worse. So we're going to look at more of this stuff in just a little bit here. Of course, he has Wall Breaker and Siege Attacker, so he can already just take things down on his own. He gets Mountain God. So Souls cost minus 25% for Carnage Incarnate. Gift of Chaos. That is the Gift of Chaos that gives him Shaggoths. So basically what you do is you wait until the Eye of God meter has filled up, hope you get the one that reduces the cost for Gifts of Chaos by 75%, and you get Carnage Incarnate for free. So Shaggoths, just enter your army. And the upkeep is reduced for them, and they get missile resistance bonuses for monstrous infantry and monstrous units. So to go into further how this can get expanded upon, you choose the monstrous strength ability here for weapon strength and melee attack for all non-demonic war beasts, monstrous, and monster units. That's going to make your dragon ogres even scarier. You get a bunch of chaos trolls, they're super scary. Then a moving mountain is going to help out with weapon strength during sieges. Toughened skin, no big deal. Spell resistance and armor. Keep in mind though, that percentage bonus applies to his armor, so his armor is going to be through the roof just getting that. Then Giant Killer, that's 12% more onto his weapon strength. Infernal Champion, that's 10% onto his weapon strength. Wound Maker, that's 20% more onto his weapon strength. His quest item, Doom Starcrusher, that's 12% more onto his weapon strength. So you can have a 1000 weapon strength Kholek Suneater well within 30 turns. Well within 30 turns. Seismic Shock is going to give Dazed Contact effect to him, charge bonus for Shaggoths and Ogres, and Unearthly Anomalous helps out with campaign movement. Sun Eater is going to help out with Demonic and so on and so forth. But look at this, Storm Rage. So let's just assume he's got 1000 weapon strength. Well, now he has 24 melee attack on top of it by using Tempest Rage right here. And he's going to get an additional 25%, so 250 more weapon strength onto his damage. It's just disgusting. Charge bonus plus 20% too. And Storm Rage for all Dragon Ogres and Dragon Ogre Shaggoth units. I'm telling you, I was not stoked on Kholek's campaign one bit. I was like, it's Kholek, whatever. He'll probably be boring. No, he's stupid fun. He's so cool. Especially if you go down the technology tree and you jump into stuff like Herald of Doom, which makes weapon strength even more for your Shaggoths and your Ogres. Giant Manacles here for more weapon strengths on your Trolls and your Giants. You can just have so much fun. I personally went down into Arcane Branding Iron just to get a bunch of Tzeentch marked units for barrier, and then just made a bunch of Shaggoths and Dragon Ogres because it's actually way easy to get them by just simply expanding south and then east. And Vilitch is right here, who's next up on our list. And if you if you subjugate Vilitch, you automatically get his vassals. So that's 2 vassals. There's a vassal right here, and there's a vassal right here. There you go. That's 4 vassals, and you get there well within 20 turns. You just get so strong as Kholek Suneater. So if you want to play as a Dragon Ogre that can reap and burn his way through all of Cathay, trust me, Kholek is going to be the man for you. You start right here, right next to Grimgore, but he offers you a non-aggression pact quite quickly, and your closest real opposition is Archaon over here. And after you take this whole top side, you could go right to Archaon and subjugate him. And if you subjugate him, you'll get his vassals too. So you just can get so strong so easily with Kholek that it makes his campaign just a nut-busting good time of destruction through everything. Especially because you can subjugate Ogre Kingdoms with Kholek. And I don't know if you can do that with all the other ones, but you go right over here and you can take this, and that makes this Dolgan's your vassal. But right here is a ogre tribe, and you can subjugate them, and that is just a lot of fun. So you have so many different varieties of factions around you versus a lot of other playthroughs for your Warriors of Chaos. You're just going to be dealing with Norskins. That's what I really like about Kholek is you have Norskins, I have a Warrior of Chaos, I've got an ogre faction all under my umbrella, and that is so fun to me. The last of the new characters is Vilitch the Curseling, number 2 on our list, and probably one of my favorite campaigns in both Realm of Chaos and in Immortal Empires. I really, really like Vilitch's character. It's just so fun. Of course, he does suffer from the same things I said that Sigvald does, and that he doesn't have a mount, but that's neither here nor there. Essence of Agony here is going to give vassals gain barrier hit points and spread Tzeentch corruption. He has access to the Changing of the Ways, and I'll talk about his special one. Forces receive benefits for having high winds of magic, converts a portion of own battle casualties into souls, and has access to Tzeentch teleport stance. Those things are big, man. The teleport stance, I can go wherever I want in Cathay and just completely reap a tally upon the Cathayan lands. In addition, he has a special Changing of the Ways, which allows him to spawnify, where he gets 3 Chaos Spawn, reveal Shrouds, so he can just reveal everything, drain magic, he drains up to 40 winds of magic from a target, muddle minds, he can reduce movement range, ambush defense, and leadership of a target, break an alliance outright, or reveal factions' intentions, basically letting them know where they're going on the map. The spawns are very good for Vilitch, where I normally would almost never choose spawns. Let's take a look at his details to give you a little bit more of an idea of why that is. So for one, he gets Parasite, which he can steal 15% of the experience earned by other lords, which is kind of nice here. He just kind of constantly gets levels. passive ability, the Twisted Twin, which we'll show in just a second. Then teleport stance usage cost minus 25% for Winds of Magic, which is great. So he can use it far more often. Now, Twisted Twin is going to give him an increase to spell mastery, melee defense, and melee attack as he either attacks in combat or casts spells. So he already feels like more dynamic of a character, even though he's only on foot. And when we look at his skills, he gets access to the lore of Tzeentch, which is a fun lore. It's not amazing, but it's fun. Sword and Sorcery gives him Warp Flame attacks and barrier, or additional barrier hit points. Twist of Fate helps out with casualty replenishment and upkeep reduction for your spawns. And you can get so many of them so fast. You get cheap spawns in your army that are free. All they did was just cost you some Winds of Magic, and they have like 100 upkeep. Plus, once you get really high authority, it further reduces their upkeep. So they're like right now, these guys, they're 235. If I half that with the 50% reduction, they're even cheaper to have in my army, and I can make them very strong. And I like that a lot. Going into this, we got Mind Wipe. It's going to help out with Treason of Tzeentch and Changing of the Ways reduction for Muddle Minds. Pawns of Fortune is going to help out with Diplomatic Relations, which is really good because you're going to be surrounded by them. With Warriors of Chaos, Demons of Chaos, Beastmen, and Norska. Also, souls gained from own casualties is increased by a further 25%. Mine All Mine helps with Steel Technology, post-battle chance of stealing a magic item, and income from post-battle loot. Lastly, Master of Misrule gets him the Winds of Change ability. It helps with miscast chance and power recharge. So you're just going to be casting so many spells with Vilitch, and it's going to make you better because it gives you that spell mastery. And on top of it, we go into his technology tree. Just focusing on spawns, you can have, okay, this is going to give terror for chaos spawn units. You can just have so much fun by making spawns really fun and crucial in the early parts of your game, which I almost never ever do. And then on top of it, I really personally love the Gift of Tzeentch. It is so strong in Total War Warhammer by giving barrier, by making all of your Aspiring Champions and Chosen, giving them access to Warp Flame. Down the line here, you get Unholy, where is it? This one. Chaos Moon, which gives it so that your Aspiring Champions can summon pink horrors onto the battlefield. And also more barrier hit points for all Mark of Tzeentch units. There are just so many ways to make your army so scary. And on top of it, Vilitch's spawn point is over here in a corner. So he's really got nothing around him that can threaten him around these corner areas. You can just jump down south here into fighting Lokir Felheart. Oh, is that Lokir down here? I thought he was right down here. Well, he's right around here somewhere. You have Cathay you can just kind of jump into. And the nice thing is, with teleport stance, you can really jump to a certain point that you want to deal with. Furthermore, you can go west and either ally or defeat Kholek right there. So why I like Vilitch's campaign is because Cathay is not necessarily fleshed out, you can have this massive Cathayan Tzeentchian empire, which I love. It's very lore-esque because there's always a dichotomy between Tzeentch and Cathay. And you also have the sea lanes. You can jump to another part of the map. So I feel like Vilitch has one of the most interesting campaigns in the Immortal Empires because he has so many targets he can choose from. He can go into Nagaroth. He can go into the Southland. I'm sorry, into Lustria, into the Darklands, into Cathay. He can even go to Northern Chaos Waste if he really wanted to. So I find that you can really have such a fun, cool sandbox with all of the options you have available to you with Vilitch the Curseling. Last but definitely not least is Be'lakor, the campaign I am having the most fun with the Warriors of Chaos, because you can just do everything. You can do the Demons of Chaos stuff, you can do the Warriors of Chaos stuff, you can go wherever the hell you want because you're placed in the middle of everything. So let's just take a look at it, okay? Let's look at Be'lakor. Jumping into his faction effects here, gets the Harbinger. Human lords can be corrupted into becoming demon princes when defeated in battle or targeted by heroes. Any hero action, so blocking an army, starts this timer, a 10-turn timer. And if the lord lives through those 10 turns, like say you go somewhere off and you block them, they get killed by AI faction, you don't obviously get them. But then they become a demon prince that enters into your pool. Now, from what I can tell, they're just simply an undivided demon prince. I think there's actually ways to get different specific marked demon princes, but I'm not really sure how. But it starts with all Chaos God gift slots, which is great, and upkeep minus 25% for demon units. Going to his actual abilities, he gets Shadow Shroud, which is a 40% damage resistance, and he gets the Prince of Nightmares, authority +2, and ability Shadow Shroud. He is just so fun because he has the lore of Shadows, which is amazing. The Pit of Shades is really, really strong right now. For his actual abilities, Lord of Torment gives him a passive ability to heal and power recharge. The One Who Heralds the Conquerors gives him experience gain for undivided lords and heroes, meaning he can have a ton of heroes out that are getting marks and becoming their respective marked champions, right? Oh, this is, I want a hero of Nurgle. Boom, I got him a 30% increase on that experience gain, and you can increase the recruitment rank through a commandment. So there's so many great ways to just take advantage of this. Warband upgrade cost minus 75% for demon units. That's exalting them. So going from its a normal bloodletter up to a exalted bloodletter. Boom, there you go. 75% reduction in that cost. Blood and Magic gives you increase to each of the demon's abilities. So Tzeentch barriers, melee defense for Nurgle, weapon strength for Khorne, charge bonus for Slaanesh. Whisper in Darkness is going to give him a leadership -8 and removes ITP for anyone in a 35-meter radius around him, and a nice juicy bonus to his weapon strength. He also has a lot of armor. Most demons don't get that kind of armor, which is nice too. So you can increase that all the way up to 60 just from thick-skinned. Father and Shadow, hero recruitment rank +2 for Chaos Sorcerers, and cooldown reduction for Lore of Shadows. Then Messenger of the Great Undivided gives him a ton of corruption and also all authority, which is lovely. He also gets Dark Master, which reduces melee attack here. For his quest items, he gets the Blade of Shadow, which is going to give him this passive ability. It's just, he's so fun because he's a very strong character in close combat. He can do a lot of damage. Obviously, there's going to be stronger characters out there when it comes to just raw damage, like Scarbrand. Even, as you saw, Kholek, which just gets disgusting. But I think what is really fun here is, I get Unholy Manifestations. So he can do the Blood God's Grudge, which gives him some attack benefits. The Plague Father's Cleanse, which helps out with Nurgle corruption. The Dark Prince's Secret, which causes immediate damage to the enemy. Notice that each one of these gifts you the respective god's unit, but this is the best one. The Cursor's Boon opens a rift in the province the target army is positioned in. And the way that this works is, I've got this little rift right here. I jump into this rift, and then I pop out wherever these Cursor's Boons are. Wherever I place them, I choose it. So, as long as I can see the enemy army, I can place a rift there, and that's all it needs to happen. So if I have a hero, I can have that hero range out in the direction that I want to go for my campaign, while I'm kind of solidifying my homeland, maybe jumping over here, getting a couple things here and there, and then I have that hero go somewhere, and then I use the Cursor's Boon, and boom, I can drop and get access to immediately teleport to that location, and coming back and forth between these heroes, lords, everyone can use these shadow rifts. It's so goddamn cool. Then I get access to all the gifts of chaos, and I start off with accessing a Nurgle, a Khorne, a Tzeentch, or a Slaanesh one. I can do both. I can access all of these what are these called? All the Warriors of Chaos, all their respective marks, all the mortal units, and then I can gift into myself more demons. Like, it is just the best of both worlds, and he himself is a really cool, strong character. He looks great in close combat, voiced by Richard Armitage. Like, it's just too fun of a campaign. So, if you want to, also, what I think is cool about this campaign is it's truly a choose your own adventure. Look where you start. You're pretty much centralized for almost anything. And there's a sea lane that's close enough to you that you could jump over to Cathay if you really wanted to. Or you, even worse, even if the sea lanes didn't exist, you could just send a hero in this direction and rift over to wherever you want. So if you want to jump down here into the Darklands, send a hero out there and then just rift into it. So I think that this is truly that kind of like, choose your own adventure, play however you want, have a very strong character, and create the realm of chaos, the Warriors of Chaos realm that you want in this world, however you see fit, with Be'lakor. Easily my go-to favorite campaign here for the Mortal Empires and the Warriors of Chaos. But that concludes our video here today, guys, covering all of these Warriors of Chaos campaigns. Go ahead and let me know in the comment section below. Hey, you know what? You put Festus all the way down at the bottom as your worst pick, but this is how I've been using him, and I've really been enjoying it, and this is the really beneficial way to go about it. So share as much information as you can if you're really enjoying a specific campaign that I maybe didn't rate as well. I try to do my best to not just say, well, this campaign sucks, I'm not going to talk about it. I wanted to at least give you an objective and then subjective point of view about why I like and dislike, or what just like the, hey, here's just the facts about the campaign before we jump into a little bit of a review, or at least an idea of how this campaign plays. And I'm going to be doing this for pretty much every single race in Total War Warhammer 3. So let me know if there's any changes to this format that you'd like. Do you want me to not go over the skills? Is it just superfluous? You can jump into the game and do it yourself? Or do you want more of just like, hey, give me more facts about what's around me, what I can confederate with, what my enemies are going to be like? Whatever it just helps these videos out in the future. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching here today. Have a good one and take care.